What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii and I'm back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. There's just so much news happening. There is a lot of stuff that has just happened on Japan. Obviously, they've got the 12.0 maintenance has concluded on the Japanese side of things. Tomorrow, or depending on, it could be today, depending on when you're watching this video, we're going to be having the data download and the maintenance period on global, and it's going to be crazy. And I'm going to be live streaming as soon as that maintenance is concluded. I'll be live streaming before it as well. I'll let you guys know when I post a video tomorrow when I wake up about when I'm going to be streaming, because we're going to be having a look at this update very extensively. There is so much here in this update. So we're going to be talking about the brand new legend badge that's going to be arriving. I believe it'll be arriving a couple of days after the maintenance period, when the Brook Sugo Fest will be leaving the game. Now, it introduces two new legends. We got a brand new marker and we have a brand new Big Mom. This is the marker right here, and we're going to be talking about him first. We're just going to jump straight into it because there's a lot to talk about here. So Marco, Captain ability, is going to give -1 cooldown at the start of the quest. He will boost the attack of Psy, Fighter, and Powerhouse characters by 4.75 times, and then gives them a 5 times boost if you have a matching slot, which is not very difficult to get, and also a 1.4 times health boost. He makes int slots matching, and when the crew has an end of turn healing buff active, on the next turn, he triggers his special ability. Now, it says here that it triggers only once per adventure, and the cooldown reduction does not apply to himself because it does, apply a cooldown when you use the special. So that's pretty crazy. And then, to top it all off, he also provides 2.25 times higher EXP. We now have the next best EXP captain in the game, and it's pretty interesting that they're dropping this right before the anniversary celebration, where you want to be leveling up your pirate level as much as you possibly can so that you can get additional legend tickets in the event. It makes a lot of sense why they're doing this, but this is just so nuts. So captain ability is wicked. There's really nothing wrong with his captain ability. It's amazing. But let's just jump over to the special because there's more to talk about there as well. Let's go ahead and zoom down here a little bit more. -1 cooldown to the crew when you launch the special. Also 80 times his attack and typeless damage to all enemies. That ignores all defensive abilities. Heals 10,000 HP. And for 2 turns, boost the attack of Psy Fighter Powerhouse characters by 2.5 times. That is just ridiculous. Such a good boost, and it's for 2 turns, and after 1 turn has passed, you get a 1 turn 1.4 chain boost. So one of the best chain boosts in the game, a very substantial attack boost, healing, damage, cooldown reduction. Like, this is great. And remember, if you have an end of turn healing buff activated, this special ability will automatically launch once per quest. So this is going to be a really nice way to semi-speed farm, I suppose, because he does give you a little bit of cooldown. It's not nothing too crazy, but if you want to speed farm EXP farming, you can do it with this guy in a certain sense. Now, he is a super class unit. He is a super class fighter because he is a fighter powerhouse, and he is a Psy unit, of course. So he's the first super fighter in the game, I believe. And the condition is very easy. You just need 5 or more fighter characters in your crew. So that's very easy to achieve. And then the super type special, or the super class special, should we say, is again 80 times his attack and types damage to all enemies, -1 cooldown to fighter characters, and for 2 turns, I believe this is fighter and powerhouse. It might be Psy Fighter and powerhouse, I can't remember exactly. But either way, also provides, at the end of the turn, you get 8,000 healing for 2 turns. So his super type special provides you with the end of turn healing, which if you activate it, it means in the following turn, his special ability will automatically launch. Really cool effect. And then super fighter characters on your team. So just this unit as a kit is just a really well-balanced unit with a great captain, a great special, and a really nice super type special that allows you to speed farm and get cooldown reduction and get more EXP, right? He's just a really solid unit. If you do opt to use him as a crewmate, he gets 5 turns of special reverse counted, which is great. Also 100 stats for the crew. He has the hunger ability, he has the pinch healing, and he also has Sailor Despair or fear resistance. So you can see he has hunger, pinch healing, and fear resistance. So he has the cooldown reduction Sailor effect with the fear resistance is just perfect with this unit. It's so good. His support effect on the final stage, plus 0.7 to the chain multiplier, Whitebeard, Ace, Jozu, Vista, so it's nice that those characters get another good support, and at 0.7 chain boosted, that is pretty decent, not too bad at all. And then his PvP stuff. Now, this is where things get a bit shaky, because his PvP stuff is not really that great. And that goes for Big Mom as well, which we'll talk about. But but his special ability, 3500 fixed damage to 3 enemies, and heal 3.5 times his recovery to Psi allies. Special ability is okay. It's on a 35 CT, is a big problem though. 35 is way too high for a special ability like that. And then his ability, level 5 defense to powerhouse and level 5 HP to Psi. So just, this is so annoying. I just wish that they would focus down so that both of these buffs were on either the color of Psi or on powerhouse characters. And in all honesty, powerhouse probably deserve it a bit more. Both of these buffs should have been to that class. Unfortunately, they didn't do it. So that's just a big pain. He is still definitely usable, but he's not the best in my personal opinion. But just in regular content though, he's going to see a lot of play. He is the best EXP captain in the game, and you can still use Legend Jack. He's definitely still usable, but if you want even more experience, then he's going to be your man. So the next character we're having a look at is the brand new V3 Big Mom, who is an int powerhouse striker, and it is a super type int character, as we can see here, and nothing crazy with their potential ability, so that's pretty interesting. But the captain ability will boost int and psi characters attack by 4.75 with a 1.5 health boost. Psi and int characters with a similar slot will get a 5.25 times attack boost instead. Psi and Dex slots will become Semler slots, and the crew will treat Semler slots as beneficial. That is wicked. And at the start of the adventure, trigger the special, and you can consume Semler slots even though you hit a perfect. So this is cool. This is another type of unit. As soon as you start the quest, her special ability is automatically activated. And her special ability is freaking insane. So her special, what's the cooldown on that one? 14 turns, pretty high. Cuts the HP of all enemies by 20%. For 1 turn, boost the slot effects of Sign In by 2.5, and then change all slots, including block, into Semler slots. Now, this next component says that it's going to be activated for 99 turns, so it's basically like a V1 Kaido effect, right? And we'll keep that in mind about V1 Kaido. So remember, this automatically launches at the start of the quest, where for 99 turns, at the start of each stage, you cut the HP of all enemies by 20%, and at the end of each turn, 500 times this character's attack in int damage to all enemies, and for 1 turn inflicts enemy with paralysis. And reduce 1 turn of percent damage reduction and threshold damage reduction. Oh my god. Okay, look, I had some translations that I did myself a little earlier, and I did not see this, the fact that it actually removed Rainbow Shield and Threshold. This is actually insane. Now remember, you can't double stack this with 2 Big Moms. Only one of these buffs is going to be activated, so you can't remove 2 turns of Rainbow Shield and 2 turns of Threshold. But it doesn't matter. This is still absolutely phenomenal. At the end of the turn, you just remove it. Now, I hope that that actually that gets removed off of the enemy first, and then it does the damage. If it is the other way around, it's not as good, but it's still a fantastic effect, because it's basically a buffed version of Kaido, because not only are you doing a health cut every time you enter a new stage, you're also doing end of turn damage, which is the same as Kaido, and it's even better because it's in int damage. I believe Kaido also did 400 times his attack, and this is 500 times, so it's more damage, and it's int damage, which means that there's no type disadvantage with int, so it's going to always do a pretty substantial amount of damage. But then that's where Kaido had the advantage, because if you are against a quick enemy, it is double damage, so that, you know, you take what you get there. But then this additional effect of just paralyzing the enemy as well, so even if you don't kill them, you can just inflict paralysis with them, which is crazy. We saw that Nami and Usopp Legend that came out towards the end of the year, that unit also had the paralysis effect. It really didn't see a lot of play, but now we have a unit that can just inflict it to the enemy. That's ridiculously useful, man. And we mentioned that this character is a super type unit, so you basically just need one of her children on the crew, and the special from her super type does 75 times her attack in typeless damage to all enemies. For 1 turn, boost the attack of Sign-It characters by 2.25. Just like, holy, dude. You can just wave clear content, and on the final boss stage, if you have her special, that is, you just launch her super type special and her special, you get a full board of slots, attack and all boost, and boom. Like, the rest of your units can be dedicated to just utility. And that is also another thing as to why, you know, V1 Kaido, for example, may still actually see a lot of play, is that this character does not have a cooldown reduction captain effect, and that was one of the big benefits of Kaido, because you're wave clearing so quickly that you are getting to the final boss stage just absurdly fast, and by that time you don't have your specials ready to go. So that honestly could be a big downfall to this unit, but Despite all that, if you can use it effectively, this is going to be probably the next best speed farming captain in the game. Does come down to that whole cooldown shenanigan though, but it's so incredible the amount of damage you can do with this unit. In terms of the other effects, Sailor Effect, Recovery and Similar Slots are beneficial. That's amazing. I'm really happy that she has that. And then stats to sign in, which is cool. Her Limit Break abilities, which again were Enrage, Critical, and Recovery Bind, so nothing special there. Her support effect on the final boss stage changes the slot of the supported unit, including block slots, into a Semler slot, and then treat Recovery and Semler slots as beneficial, and it just attaches to one of her children. So that's a fantastic support effect. One of those other supports that just gets you a matching slot, of course, which is pretty nice. But of course, it does give you one turn of a beneficial slot, which can be a good and a bad thing, but either way, still very, very nice. And in Pirate Rumble, right? So this is her Pirate Rumble kit, 32 CT, which is pretty high, and it will do a 100% chance of half stats to 2 Psi enemies for 10 seconds, which is pretty good. When the HP is 50% or more, 100% chance of special bind to 3 enemies for 10 seconds, pretty good. When the HP is less than 50%, 3 times attack to enemies in a large range. So this is very good damage, but you have to be less than 50%. If you're above that 50% threshold, then you're just doing utility. But remember, this is an int character. You're only really going to be using it on an int team. So defensively, this is going to be nice because you're just debuffing the enemies. And then if she is at low HP, when she launches her special, she just hits absurdly hard. This is going to be a really nice unit to have, and it just makes int teams even more scarier to take on in Pirate Rumble, right? And then her PvP ability will give level 2 CT decrease to Psi enemies, level 5 HP up of Powerhouse characters, and level 5 attack up of int. So I don't like this. I really don't like how they separate it between class and color. I don't know if it's a balancing factor in any sense, because this is a terrible way to balance a unit. This unit is just... I don't like that. The level 5 attack is great because you're probably going to be using this in an int-based team. I don't see Powerhouse teams being used that much considering Wano lore is still a thing. But despite all that, this is still... it's an okay effect, but it definitely would have been a lot better if this HP up was used for int characters instead. And then, of course, the rest of the abilities there. So, Big Mom and Marco are incredibly strong in each of their senses. You've basically got Marco, who is like a brand new buffed version of Legend Jack. And then you've got Big Mom, which is like a buffed version of V1 Kaido. But, of course, there are drawbacks with both of each of these units. With Jack, it's a rainbow captain, so you can kind of run things in a different way. You can run dedicated units to speed farm in some certain senses. But, of course, with Marco, you probably want 5 fighters to get his super type special, and if you do that, you can get his special to launch multiple different times. So I guess it does depend on the situation. And then for Big Mom, as we mentioned, she's not a cooldown reducing captain, which can really hurt her if you're trying to get some specials for the final boss stage. So it's going to be interesting to see how people are going to be planning around using this unit as a captain. So there are 3 Revocate characters in this batch. The first one is going to be Paraspero, who is an int driven and a striker character, and his captain is pretty bad. His special ability, which is what, a 12 turn cooldown, changes block slots into matching, and then for 3 turns you get a 1.0 chain boost, pretty good. And when you hit 3 perfects, boost the color affinity of striker and driven by 2 times in the following turn. I don't see this character seeing that much play because there's no utility whatsoever, because typically legends are like the characters that are your big boosters, and then recruits most of the time are like your guaranteed utility units, your dedicated units on your crew to remove some utility. Of course, the captains and legends can have that as well, but the fact that this unit is like basically just a boosting unit and only real use is the block slot manipulation, I really don't see this Paraspero seeing a lot of play, unfortunately. And then support effect, once per during the adventure, when you use the special of the supported unit, you get a 0.4 chain boost. Big Mom pudding Katakuri cracker smoothie. This is not the best either. A 0.4 chain boost, and it is on activation of special, so I guess there may be some uses for it. 1.4 is not the worst on a special activation. It's okay. And then in Pirate Rumble, 70% chance to special seal enemies in a medium range for 10 seconds, and level 6 speed down to Psi, not very good. And then int, level 5 HP, and level 3 guard rate up. Yeah, unfortunately, Sorry, Perisboro fans, but he's not that good. The next one here is Charlotte Pudding, who is an int-driven striker as well, and her captain is bad, and her special is multi-staged, and what is the cooldown on that one? 13 on stage 2, and it says for 1 turn, boost the attack of Driven and Striker by 1.75, 3 turns of Bind, and 1 turn of damage immunity is removed. Now, there are not a lot of characters that remove damage immunity, so this is actually pretty valuable. Once again, not very great utility, but this is only stage 1. Stage 2, which is what, again, 13, and it will be a 2 times attack to Striker Driven, 5 turns of Bind removal, and 2 turns of damage immunity. Yeah, this is a unit that's going to see play, just because damage immunity is very rare to see on a special that can just remove. That's very, very useful. And I mean, just adding Bind removal on top of it and an attack boost on top of it, like, it's not the best attack boost ever, but the damage immunity is definitely the big thing there for this unit. -1 cooldown to herself every time another Driven or Striker uses a special. That is also very, very good. What's her potential abilities? We've got Orb, Slot Bind, and also Pinch Healing. And her support, once per the adventure when you're inflicted with Bind, reduce it by 1 and change the character slot, including block, into matching. Big Mom Sanji Chiffon. Yeah, this is good. And very, very good support. And then Pirate Rumble Special, level 5 attack to int allies for 25 seconds, 15% CT charge to one enemy that does not have a fully charged CT yet. This is okay. What is the CT of her pirate level stuff? 30. 30 is way too high for a special like that. And her ability is level 5 speed and level 3 attack to int. I mean, it's fine. She's probably not going to see a lot of play, unfortunately. But overall, that special and support of Pudding, pretty good. I'm a fan. And then the last of these rare recruits here is going to be Charlotte Cracker, who is an int powerhouse slasher, and he will have a special on a 12 turn. Yeah, 12 turn cooldown. 5 turns to despair, attack down, and burn removal. For 2 turns, make perfects easier to hit, and for 2 turns, add 80 times his attack as type damage, as tap timing bonus damage, and 90% damage reduction. Woo! Yeah, this is a really good special. I mean, just that alone, like just this first sentence, if that was the only thing that his special did, he was already good. Everything else is kind of eh. I mean, the easy perfects, the tap timing bonus, like whatever. The damage reduction is actually pretty good. Yeah, this is a good rare recruit. I love it. He's very, very good. Int characters will treat psi slots as beneficial. Great crewmate effect. And his potential ability is, wow, he has Hunger and Enrage. Very, very interesting. And his Pirate Rumble stuff, he has a 29 CT, which will do a medium range 1200 fix, 70% chance of special seal, and his ability is level 3 HP to int and level 5 attack to himself. Not very good there. What was his support again? During adventure, when you use a special, 50% damage reduction. I mean, that could be useful. Big Mom Katakuri Smoothie, that could be okay. Just that special though, that special is so good. Yeah, that's such good utility. Now, one other character that doesn't have translations yet on the actual post here, shout out to Koala-san by the way, is this Corazon. Now, this Corazon is a brand new Pirate Rumble rare recruit. Now, I want to talk about him very briefly because he's actually pretty good. So let's go ahead and break him down. So, Corazon, quick cerebral free spirit, and his Rumble ability, so his passive effect, is going to give your quick teammates a level 6 attack, level 6 health, and your strength enemies get level 6 attack down. This is a fantastic Rumble ability for a quick team. To challenge those strength teams, reducing their damage is always a huge positive. And then a 28 CT that reduces the HP of one enemy by 70%. And then your quick teammates get level 5 defense for 20 seconds. And then you'll also get level 5 guard rate up for 20 seconds. And then strength enemy CT decrease level 4 for the next 10 seconds. I really wish that this was also 20 seconds. That would be absurd, but this is a really nice support style special that will work very well on a quick team. Though, you know, if you have a character like V2 Legend Brook on a quick team and you have Corazon on a quick team, that's 2 characters on your crew that don't do any damage. So you really have to balance that well, though I do like the effects that Corazon has. I think he's a very good Pirate Rumble rare recruit, and I definitely think he will kind of squeeze his way into some quick teams in Pirate Rumble. I think he's super solid. So this is only just the tip of the iceberg with the 12.0 update because there is so much to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of this stuff that we have to talk about in this update. Might have to wait until tomorrow when the global version actually comes out so I can actually show it to you guys, because there is a lot of stuff in this update, including Grand Voyage, all of the upgrades to all the old characters. It is literally absurd. You guys are going to love this update 12.0. So that is going to end this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.